Hello, welcome back. My name is Dr. George Mochocki. Uh, this is an online class or face-to-face class or blended class that you're taking me with, and this is an overview of what we discuss in our discussion board or in our lectures within the class. Okay, so this is Marketing 106, Retail Merchandising. We're on Chapter 15, Implementing a Merchandising Plan for a Store. Last chapter, Chapter 14, we discussed developing a merchandising plan. So now we're going to show you how to implement or give you some general ideas that we talked about. And remember, for your project, this is the main component. Or if you're a businessman, if you're an entrepreneur owning a retail store, or you're a department head or a team leader within a chain of different department stores, and you have to implement a new merchandising for your department or for a store, it basically follows about the same logical steps. Okay, so what it's going to be, I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger. And remember, I don't edit most of my videos, so what you get is what you get. So if I make some mistakes, I just move along, unless I really make a big mistake. Okay, so what are our learning objectives? I got a 200 because usually my picture's right in here. Okay, our learning objectives. First of all, we gathered the information from last chapter, developing one. We're selecting and interacting with our merchandising sources. In other words, our suppliers, our logistics channel. We're evaluating, negotiating, and concluding purchasing and receiving from our suppliers, or what the author that we're utilizing here uh, 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 considered merchandising sourcing. Okay, roles of logistics and inventory management. Remember, part of the whole thing, management is your biggest expenditure other than once you get your employees. You have to buy your inventory 6 months in advance. And how do I minimize that inventory so I buy just enough so I don't have to do any markdowns, I don't get stuck with merchandise that's obsolete, and how do I make sure I got the right mixture, the right sizes, the right color, the right depth and width that we all retail stores are looking for. And that does make a difference. It could be from a hardware store. You see some examples here. A hardware store. It could be a fashion store. It could be a shoe store. You name it. If it's a retail business, it has to follow these logical steps. It's in some format or another. Okay, so steps in implementing a merchandising plan. Remember, I'm just going over all this. We already talked about this in our class. This is just a quick review. So you got the information, evaluation, and everything else. And I'm going to use the figure here, and this is how the process looks. Does it make sense? You get the information, you select who your vendor is going to be, you evaluate, does it meet your brand? Does it meet your store niche? Is it the quality you're looking for? Is it the costs that you could still make a profit margin? You negotiate that with them to make sure you know the terms and conditions. Then you go down and you purchase the products from them. They're your supplier. How do you receive the product? Who does the stocking of the merchandise? Who does the reordering? Some reordering. If you know if it's like your staple items that you always use over and over again, you could make that automatically, but you still have to every now and then do a reevaluation. Just because you keep on buying it over and over, do you really need it? If all of a sudden my inventory is growing for my staples because people aren't buying the staple or my basic products that usually come into my store, my signature product line, then I have to make that adjustment. Don't get into the habit of just getting reordered and you get more than you need, or they're ordering and you're reordering it's the wrong sizes or the wrong color and it's not satisfying your customer needs. So you have a lot of inventory at the end and you have a poor ratio in the turns per inventory or sell through that we talked about. Okay. All right. So, and that's all. And so we'll be talking about this through the rest of this overview that we've discussed in the class. Okay, so now we're going to go selecting the merchandising sources or the supplier. And so is the supplier a company-owned supplier? The retailer owns the manufacturing, the wholesaling, and here's a pic of this again. Suppliers, they can internally control this logistic, and then they sell it to you, either directly to the customer if you're a catalog, or to you as a retail establishment, and help you set it up and do some job racking or do help you with the advertising, whatever. But it's all done internally. The next one you have is an outside regularly used supplier. Most of them are just do one function of the logistics. You know, they may just do the purchasing. Somebody may be the manufacturer, the production, and someone does the distribution. But it's still part of. So these are all separate, regularly used by supplier. It's not owned by the retailer, and things come to me, and I have to basically negotiate with each one of these. Independently, and that could not be too bad because this one here is more like a bundling. This one here I could get the best price depending what works well for my business getting the supplies to me. Okay, now outside new suppliers, you know, there's new suppliers are coming into trying to sell the product. Could be from China, could be from Vietnam, could be from European Union. They just come up, could be even locally within the United States. Somebody's coming in there, they don't have a track record. It's like you buying a new product. You don't know, oh, are they good or not. But you talk to them and you may give them a chance. So you don't put all your eggs in that basket. You look at the price and see how they deliver. See if the quality is there. See if the pricing is good. See if they meet your expectation before you get a larger. You make a larger commitment to them to supply your needs. If the pricing is good and everything else is good, sometimes if it sounds too good, especially a new one, they may come across good because they got the energy and everything else, but they may not be familiar with how to make this process work for them. And you know, the bottom end is if they don't deliver to you on time, or the quality is bad, or it's broken, or damaged, or something else, your cost is a reflection of you to your customers. They don't care that the supplier made a mistake. You contracted with the supplier. You told me it was going to be in here. Me as a retailer. Okay. Now a list of outside sources of supply, and this one's supposed to be supplier. Sorry, might as well just put it in here while I'm live, otherwise I forget. Okay. So if I'm looking at, and here's the figure from the book. It has everything else in here. Here's the source characteristics. I'm not going to go into this. We discussed this thoroughly in our discussion. Or you have the book, the author's book, and he and she basically break that down. Very simple. Excellent reading book, okay? Now, you had the manufacturers. That's a little different. They usually don't want to get involved with the customer, but I buy directly. So, you know, my taxes are different. They ship well, and I have any kind of concern, I could talk with the manufacturers. So my cost to me is lower. That allows me to have a little bit higher profit margin. Or I could set something up with the manufacturer that I do all the ordering and everything else, and then he or that manufacturer sends directly to your home. And if there's any returns, it comes through me and back to the manufacturer. So they are not involved in that customer relationship, because that's not what they want to do. They just want to manufacture the product at a good price. Okay. Now, first, full service merchandise. Yeah, you know, they got three categories. General merchandise, that's like scrambled. A big store got a lot of everything, like a Walmart. Or specialty, there's certain products I only buy. There's a biking company I purchased an e-bike, and basically it's a juice biking e-bike. I think is the name of the company, out of California. They created it, looked at it, it was a good product, a little bit pricier. But if I look at the reviews and how long they've been in business and the shipping and everything else, it seemed like it was a good, chance. I took a gamble and I'm very pleased with them. Okay, and now we talk about a rack jobber. They basically come in and do all, stock my shelves and everything else for me, so that minimizes it. And the advantage to them is that they know that the stuff is properly displayed. There's no damage. They know what the inventory is, and we'll go on a little bit into that. I'm just giving you a quick overview. I'm going to try to keep this under 40 minutes. Okay, limited service merchandise. Again, just a drop shipper just drops it off, or mail order, or cash and carry. I mean, I could just go in there, and if you look at Sam's or Costco, if you come there earlier, not Costco as much, but Sam's, if you come there, I think from 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock, it's only business owners. So they buy by bulk. They get the whole thing, and so they buy so much, they get a good price because they're buying by large quantities, economies of scale, and then now they just put their profit margin on that product, and they sell it to their consumer. So I could just come in there, I pay cash, and I get it right away, so I could maintain my inventory as I need it. You see a lot of restaurants utilize some of their stuff for their buns or pickles. You see a big quantity. Doesn't do me that good. I'm not going to go through that much ketchup. It'll go bad by the time I use it. But for a restaurant and everything else, it makes sense for them. I buy it as I need it. So even though I had, I'm going to work at a small shop, a small restaurant, I can stop by, pick up the purchase, pay for it, and only buy what I need to, instead of having ordering and waiting on that. And agents and brokers are like a real estate. They basically don't take possession of the product. They just as your representatives. You know what I mean? So they bring the buyer and the seller together. Okay? Now learning about suppliers' attributes and the merchandise. And here you got a checklist. And this one here is, if you look at it, how are you going to find out about suppliers? You're going to look at you're going to talk to suppliers, and not only one, talk about their competitors, see which one has the best story, and see which one. And a lot of times you could talk to your other business owners that you know that might have utilized the supplier. They'll tell you, they're okay. They're usually a little late, but their quality is good, and they take the returns. They're very helpful, but give them a few extra days for delivery, a little slow on delivery or whatever. Okay. So that's one way you search the web, and this one here is American Market Atlanta is where constantly they have suppliers there, and you could go in there and see what's new and trending. And I'm not going to go into this because these videos we already had, but let's look at this checklist, and and here's a figure, and it's basically what you're looking at: reliability, quality, ethics, guarantee. That are going to fund me some credit, long-term relationships, what I'm looking for, reorders, markups, how are they going to help me with that? Innovative, local advertising. I spend 50% of the advertising, small business, and they say, hey, as long as you put our name on here, we'll pay the other 50%, or we do the advertising as an added value if you purchase from us, if you purchase so much on that, okay? And then, the next one, you talk to the suppliers. You get to, remember, when you're buying your goods, it's a little different than me as a customer. When I'm buying it, it may be a component. It gives me my brand image. It tells me what my store is about. If I'm a low-end store, I'm trying to get the best deal. If I'm a higher quality, I know I got to pay a little more because my clientele that come into my retail establishment expect that higher quality, the better brand. Not the generic. They want they're willing to pay a little bit more, and I have to pay a little bit more to make sure that my distributor or supplier gives me that quality they're looking for. They're going to go to my competition. Okay. Trade shows. Again, trade shows are real good because you can go in there, you can touch it, you can feel it, you make the contact, and you see, and even at a trade show, not only do you see, for lack of better words, the goods and the merchandise they're selling, but you also get to mingle, network with other similar retailers that carry similar products, and you can make some relationship. Well, yeah, it's my competition. I'm a small business. I'm here in Chicago. You're in California. We're not competing at all. Even on online, people are going to buy locally anyway. You know what I mean? So then I'm going, hey, what do you think about this? How do you do this? And you help each other out because sometimes they may have bought too much goods and it doesn't sell in California. I'm just making this up. And you got a relationship to go, hey, George, we've got this. We overbought too much. Do you want to pick it up? I know you carry the same product up here in Illinois. And, oh, yeah, man, I was going to, I could use that and I'll give you a break even. Just as much, I'll even ship it to you because you don't want to lose. Remember, you want to at least break even what I paid for it, make it maybe a little profit, but I don't want to get stuck with it and I can't get rid of it and I got to write it off as a loss. Okay. Again, search the web, and here's the two different sites. I think I've got your. If you look at it, there are two nice YouTubes. Here's the YouTube sites on there, and the book has it. The next thing that you have to look at is negotiating the purchase. And if you look in negotiation, I know I always throw in the Trump effect since. He's a business person. People may not like his style, but from a business perspective, you got to know when to fold your cards, say no, I don't think it's worth it, or when to hold your cards, or when to buy, and that after a while. So if you're looking at opportunist buying, you're basically looking at the stores closing out. The supplier says I have too much. Costco does that. When you look at some of the stuff and Sam's, when you look at some of the stuff that they carry a lot of it because they're trying to get rid of it. I mean, the supplier said, hey, we made too much. We forecasted. We'll talk later. It didn't come out right. We over forecasted. Or the store's closing when Toys R Us are closing. The suppliers got stuck with all this inventory. Toys R Us were the biggest customer, and now what are they going to do with it? So you could have got another toy store retailer. I could get a good deal for that thing. I might not have the selection, but I get a good deal. I could offer that to my customers, bring them in at that deal, have a higher profit margin. They're happy, and now they come in and say, "Hey, George got a whole bunch of other stuff, maybe not from here." And you see a lot of stores, even large department stores. Remember, if you're a buyer or a seller, this could be something you could buy it, because the opportunity is there. But as a retailer, if the opportunity is there and you can't sell it, don't buy it no matter how good the price is. You're stuck with it. You're going to lose it unless you're thinking of reselling it to somebody else, or you may get such a good deal, you're going to give it away as a gift or a prize or promotion. You buy so much, you get this thing free. Remember, think as a business person, think as a retailer. My whole thing is how to get customers in there. How do they feel I have value added? What do I give them for their gratitude that they are shopping my store and I get a good deal and they get a good deal, and it just said I'm in a position on that. Now, when I look at slotting allowances, every store space, if I might have a new product, I'm a retailer, and you come into me as a new supplier or existing. We've got this new product, right? And I go, okay, where are you going to put it? I have to what they call pruning. I have to get rid of the product. We talked about that last chapter. I got to move something over and put that in. Do I have a product that's not moving? It used to be very popular. It's not. Okay, I'll push that back, reduce the inventory in that, and try this to upset. Remember, what I'm looking at, I sell different product lines. I have different categories, product mix, for lack of a better word. And now I may have to adjust it because my clientele is looking for something different. My neighborhood has changed, or I may be going online. I may be trying to get another niche. So I have to move something over. It's like you buy something new, a new piece of furniture. Where am I going to put it? I love this big TV, but I got a TV there. Will it fit there? I have to move something over, put it, or give it away to put this new thing. I have to make room for it. And making room for it, I'm taking a gamble because every square foot going up and down vertically is basically, and horizontally, it costs me money. Is do I want to put in the front there when the first thing the customer see, or do I put it in the end where the customer has to look for it? Okay, and he had the article on that and the purchase term. Some of you you'll take me for finance. I teach a variety of classes at Harper. Just look me up. You see, I'm doing a little marketing. I'm throwing that in there. So you have to look at the delivery day. When are they going to deliver? Same thing when I buy online. Think of yourself when you buy online. Well, I need it tomorrow. It's going to be a week. It's coming from China. It's coming from South America. It's coming from Brazil. I don't. Oh, gee. Or it's coming from Prime. You could have it the next day. So I have to look at that quantity purchase. You have to buy over 500. I have to buy 50 for this price. And I don't need 50, so the cost may not work well for my operation. Remember, the supplier is going to try to get you, just like when you go in the store. They want you up. They want you to buy. You have to say, will I make money off of this? If I'm not going to make money, or will I lose money? Or if I'm doing it for something, I have to be able to know that I'm going to take this inventory and turn it around quickly. And I got a good deal, and that it also fits for my store brand. It fits for my customers, my clientele, because I am the reflection of that customer. When they come into my store, my retail establishment, they know me. They know the products I carry have been tested. They know the products I carry are high quality. They know the products I carry, I always take a return. I take it back, give me the original box, I send it to my distributor, and he or she, that's manufacturer, distributor, or the source, the way merchandising, sourcing, they will basically just give it back because I buy so much, they'll take the loss, and then they'll either sell it on overstock.com, or they'll give it away as to a charity. They'll do something with it, or just sell it as a second, or just sell it to somebody that buys it by bunch and sells it on eBay. Okay. Now, what kind of discounts if I buy so much? What kind of form of delivery is going to come by UPS, by truck? Remember, as a supplier, is going to try to get the best cost for them, but I need it right away because I don't carry that much inventory. So, well, you don't carry that much, you're going to have to pay me a little bit more. Okay. And point of transfer of title. When do I take possession of it? When I pay them and it's mine, I'm stuck with it, or when it gets delivered and I look at it and then I take possession, then I have the title, or I think the other one was if I'm looking at it. after the first time I pay my first month. A lot of times, look at the card, no money down. You can buy a brand new car for 2 months. You don't have to pay me anything. You know what I mean? And then so you basically took the title, and after your 2 months go by, your first payment is when you pay. You know, it's all included. And when you take me for finance, it's included in the cost. Remember, they're not losing money, but when it's my possession, I have the car for 2 months, and then I make my first payment. Okay. Okay, so now concluding purchases, I'm looking at, again, this is what we just talked about, so I'm not going to go over it. And what do I have in here? Okay, medium, large stores, multi-retail, transfer, everything I just talked about earlier. Remember, I'm just overviewing the book here. This is just a refresher. We discussed it. Don't freak out. I know a lot of people, oh my God, so much is going on. And look, you're learning. I'm just telling you things to look at. Once I plant the seeds, you listen to you read the book, we discussed it in a discussion board in the classroom. You saw some videos, and the seeds are planted. You may not pick all the things. You may not know all the vocab, the terminology, but in your mind, yeah, wait a minute. I can look at the terms. I can look at but the ones you got to know, it's price, delivery, and everything else on that. Okay. Now, when you receive your inventory, most of us trust our suppliers, but remember, there's some suppliers that are not as trustworthy. Let's put it that way. Do not trust, especially a new supplier. They may have a good story and everything else, but their production is down. Because they may not anticipate so many customers coming in there, so that's going to delay. Once you had the delay, and I had to pay the money up front, it's hurting my cash flow. Okay, so receiving and verifying inventory. Now, the biggest one, items shipped from suppliers to warehouse or directly to the retail store. Do not assume that that inventory is right. You get a lot of boxes, and a lot of times they'll do like a spot check, and you open up and you say, "Oh, you're short something." Someone will say, "Well, we apologize, and we'll just send it back." Nowadays, they have this thing that's a new system is RFID, radio frequency identification. So there's a chip in the shirts and everything else. I bring the truck in there, and I basically they scan, and I scan like this. They pick up like a Wi-Fi or Bluetooth for like a frequency of all those items, and it tells me. I don't know if the items are there, but the chips tells me I have all the items. Makes it easier for me. I don't have to have everyone checking it, and then I know all of the goods are there. Or did they send me the wrong item? I wouldn't know until I opened it up. I ordered red, because that's what sells here, and they gave me blue or they gave me pink because someone wasn't paying attention. When do I get the pickups, processing, damaged goods? If it's damaged, either, I may not know it until the customer opens up because it's all prepackaged, and then how do I return it back to the customer? Those are all everything you have to discuss about it. And who's responsible for the goods or for the refunds? Okay, and then you got controlling the merchandise, monitoring uh, major costs of merchandise theft, and later on in a little while we're going to talk about employee theft and how to look out for it, and we're also going to be talking about excuse me, customers. Okay, so I have to make sure I can sell the product. I'm looking at the turnover. I want to make money. Look, I'm a retailer. I have a profit margin, and a lot of goods and everything else is about a 50% markup and everything else. Oh my God, they're ripping. No, they're not. I have to keep the merchandise. I got to buy it ahead of time, so I got to pay the interest on that. I got to keep it in the warehouse. It's using spaces. I got to unpack it. I got to put it on the shelf. I got to call employees. It may sit there for 2 months. It may sit there for 1 week. I don't know. I'm taking the risk on that. Furniture is about like a 400% markup on that, because furniture sits for a long time. How often do you need a couch? How many people can come to my store? So the markup is higher. So, and a lot of times you could look at some good discounts because they're trying to bring in a new inventory, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's been in the store. People sit on it, but hey, man, they knock off. I'll knock off 75%. It's still low because it's already marked up about 300%. So, but you're still going to get a deal. It says we'll give you half price on that. Okay. Now here are just videos on here, and look at this for shelf space. They're real good, and we viewed them in the classroom because remember, I'm trying to utilize all your senses. You hear me, we discuss it, you write about it, you read it, and you see the video, and it's in here. It's in your long term, and when you need it, it'll come up. Excuse me. All right. So now let's look at this. Now look at reordering merchandising. 4 critical factors. delivery times when I reorder, how often, how time, how much lead time you need it. You know, if I'm a produce, I need it real quickly. If I'm a shirts or anything else, I'm a certain season, don't deliver it by summer. I may need 2 weeks, 3. Depends on your business. Remember, the longer times it takes it to the quicker you want it, just-in-time inventory really sounds great, but someone's got to pay for it because now the manufacturer's keeping that inventory and delivering to you maybe 1 day, 2 days, but you're paying a little bit extra. And remember, if there's a lot of people who have just-in-time inventory, they could run low. Now, the other thing, just-in-time inventory, when you look at the merchandising or the source or the supplier, make sure they have a warehouse it's within an area. If they're all the way in California, you're going to ship to Illinois and they have an earthquake or a flood or a fire. You know, I'm just talking California because they've been in the news a lot. You know, mudslides, whatever, and the roads are down, or something's wrong with the airplanes. You know, because of delivery, because of bad weather, that delays me. If I know it's right in Chicago, I could even go there if I have to with my own delivery truck. Not the ideal, but I could go in there and pick up the thing because their drivers are on strike. But I said, but all right, I'll come in there, I'll pick up the inventory. And then they give me a discount, okay? Because that's part of their cost on that. Okay, inventory turnover we talked about in financial outlays. You know, I'm looking at my profit margin. You know what I mean? So I'm looking at I buy my merchandise, I sell for this. I have maybe a 70% or 60% cushion in there, but that doesn't include my expenses, my salespeople, my utility, the rent, and everything else. So that's all included when I'm looking at the financial side. Take me for finance, or take another take someone within the community college. You have a lot of good instructors. Harper has excellent instructors in finance. That's because I'm teaching it. No, but also in what do you call it? Supply management. You offer good supply management. You maybe want to be on the supply management side. I throw those things in there because you get a good basic understanding at an affordable cost, and it supports the local college, the community college, and the local businesses within Harper's area or your community colleges area. Okay, logistics. When I look at logistics, let's look at logistics real quickly. Now, I just got the process. I'm just going to go to pick. Here's the logistics, right? Where am I at? I call. They go to a warehouse. They transport. Now, how Walmart could keep their costs down because they control their own warehouse. It's their own truckers or trucking industry, and they also buy in such large quantities for Sam's, and then they could also supply the local Walmart. So it comes in here. They already know how to deliver it because it's all internal. Remember when we said it's an eternal supplier? Now, in a nutshell, most of us will have to go different ones. So and you could have your own trucking company, or you pay that fee, or the what do you call it, the warehouse and storage will utilize their trucking. And how they're going to deliver it to you? Are they going to ship it in there? Just going to leave it in a dock, and you have to have your own individuals come and pick it up, or do they unload it and bring it in there, right? And how much supplies? Okay, so you look at manufacturer. You're looking for when I'm looking at it. There's a lot of people who may have the same product, same brand, different warehouses, different suppliers. Which look, if I want to buy something, a TV, I could go to Costco, I could go to Sam, I could go to Best Buy, I could go to small. I could buy the TV, all of them, so the same price. Which one gives me the best deal? Which one has the best return policy? Which one will install it me for free? Which one will deliver to my house? Which one will match the prices? How many discounts I get? Think of you as a consumer. Now you're the business owner, and those suppliers look at you as a consumer that buying their product. So you use it. You already have the logic. You just got to take it in and put it into your retail store and think the same way you're thinking when you're buying something. Remember, because you have so much limited amount of money, and you need money to make money. A farmer needs seeds before he could plant something and grow it and sell it, and then needs the seeds again. The seeds are your supply. I have to have a good inventory, or if they don't have it, I'm out of stock. They're going to walk and say, every time I come in the store, they never have what I want. Why the hell do I want to come in here? You have to be able to control that inventory, and you have to be able to have that merchandise that makes your brand, that store where majority, you're going to have some customer way out here special order it because we normally don't carry it, but we'll do it for you as a favor, and you'll have it in 1 or 2 days. The supplier said, okay, we don't care, we carry it, you know, buy that much, one or two, we'll help you out because you buy all this other stuff. I have that relationship with the supplier. Start utilizing, leverage it. As a new business you don't know, they're going to try to help you, and they're going to try to sell you more than what you need. Sometimes do some work with some clients, and you know, software individuals say, here, here's the software you need. It's the best software in the world. And you know, he says, Dr. George, will you look at this? And I looked at it. It's only it's good software. You only got 2 employees. Why the heck the software's for 500 employees? Why spend that money? Get something like QuickBooks. Get something else. Now and then, are you looking at it? So I got the basic one. As your business grows, could that supplier give you added on more benefits and more systems similar to what you're already utilizing it, but more encompassing to as your business grows? And that's what you're looking for. That's what you're looking for a supplier. You start to open up your business. Look, they're taking a gamble with you, like we talked before. Remember, like you look at a new supplier, do I take a gamble? You're a new business. They're going to be here in 6 months or a year or two. They don't know yet. So don't be too picky with them. You know what I mean? Get in there, build up a reputation. Look, I've been in business for 6 years, 3 years, 2 years. I'm in business. This is my second day. Oh, geez, here's what you want. I want to give you so much. Because I don't want to get stuck. I want to go after you. You know what I mean? You don't know. You're not sure what you're going to get. So if I'm looking at this, then remember, so you'll be, think about that when you first come in into the business. They're taking a gamble on you. Don't be so nitpicky. Take a little higher cost. After you build a relationship, you could deal with them. You could reduce the cost. They'll give you breaks. They'll give you extended credit. They may think, hey man, this guy's doing pretty good. I see his business is always busy. He's reordering. Yes, sir, we could help you out because you're a customer to them. Just like with a new customer, you give them all the credit. You give your first credit. I want 50,000. No, you got $1,000 credit. As you prove yourself, then I improve on the line of credit that I give you. Okay, now supply chain management. Harper College, I'm going to throw that in there. There's a lot of individuals in your town in supply chain management. There's an instructor, I can't think of it. They all come from supply chain. Harper has a degree or a certificate also in supply chain management. If you're going to go on this one, and some of you are merchandisers, that may be a good place to start. You get your merchandising degree here at Harper, and then you get a minor in supply chain management. Opens up your door. Remember, you have to get into that. Don't think about going to buy my dresses, my products right off the bat. You got to go in at the low end, at the bottom of the rungs for the ladder, and work your way up. So the more you have in your HR bucket, or the more you have available for you in your store. Remember, your retail. You should have a website. You should have some catalogs, some handouts, something in there that the customer says, "Hey, that's not a brick and mortar. I can buy this stuff online. I can return it online, or they'll ship it, deliver it to my house." Look at McDonald's. They start delivering. It's a retail store, for lack of a better words, restaurant. They deliver to me. Do they have someone there that they hire? No. They have a service that all they do is pick up. You order it, and they'll pick up certain things and deliver to you for a fee. But they're not only delivering for you, delivering in the area. So, you know, that's like a supply, there's logistics. They're making money on that. Okay? Now, processing and fulfillment, and Amazon is one of the best ones. So, quick response inventory, if I look at that, it's like, you know, they say quick response inventory planning. It's similar to just in time inventory. Retail reduces the amount of inventory it holds, ordering more frequently in smaller quantity. Then you could adjust at the market because you're not sure yet as a small business. That's the way I would go. And the space requirement is minimized. And if I look at the quick response inventory, think about a gas station. And they come in and says, we could service any car, any oil change. Oil change, oil filter. And you walk in there and say, man, they don't have much inventory in here. What do they call? They call Napa. They call AutoZone. And say, and, you know, you say you got a Cadillac, you got a Subaru, you got a Chevy. Yeah, we need a muffler. We need this. And what do they do? And same thing with the like the Chevy dealer. They don't carry everything for Ford. They'll call Napa. Napa, and I'm trying to push, guys. Sometimes work a little bit on my own car. Napa is as close as you can get to the original. A lot of times it's a good quality. Now, if you're looking for the lower end, you know, things AutoZone. And look, that's just a market. That's my opinion. You know, I'm talking about it. I buy both of them. They kind of fit a majority of cars. Napa is very, very specific. I couldn't tell the original equipment product is from them. The specifications are better, but you're paying a little bit higher. So remember, they're buying at the gas station. You got things and alternate. You don't have all those alternate. They call Napa. You come in the morning. They say, hey, we'll have it ready tomorrow by afternoon. They call them to deliver it. The Napa delivers. You see them out there. But now they also have it where they do business to business. But they also have it where I could come in as a individual customer and buy directly from them. Now what I want here, they give me the Napa and the thing parts. You know, so that's not where they're making the money. Because you ever say, there's nobody in here. They're making their money for all they're like the wholesale distributor for there. And they know the number of cars that are in the area. They know the year of the car. The brand new one's still covered under manufacturer. There's no reason to carry those parts unless it's an oil filter or something else. You know what I mean? But any kind of repair, alternator, you're still under warranty. So they'll go from like 2012 and they go to the DVD. Yeah, I mean, the driver's. What do you call it, facility, get the licensing, not your name, how many cars are registered in this area, in Palatine or like Zurich, and they'll know the models, and they'll have a good idea what to carry. If they don't have it, there's another Napa around the corner, may have more, and they'll transfer and they'll have it to you in an hour. Can't wait, you can't beat that. And it's the product I'm looking for, okay? All right, now transportation and warehousing, how often will it be supplied? Like with the gas station, they do it twice. Same thing with tires. I go Firestone, they don't have the size. They'll have it there. I could buy it online through Supplier, and they'll set up an appointment, and that supplier, the manufacturer, Firestone, direct it to the independent retailer store, or you could go directly in the retailer store. When you do something like that with the tires, go from online, remember, they're basically doing the selling for the retailer, so their cost to the retail, the individual store, to you it's the same. But to them, me as a store, got to pay. I get less of a profit back, or less of a margin, because they're doing all that for me in the front. So you go in there, I pay the same amount. The retailer now gets a little bigger margin because it's assumed that he did the advertising and he made the sales pitch. That's the difference. You know what I mean? Work with your independent retailers, help them out. The price is the same. You still get the same coupon. Nothing changes. It's just that you go through him. So that store first, other than going to the corporate or the website. Some people like both, so it's available. Okay. Now, theft. Now look at these numbers. Each year, 45 billion. Heck, we could do a lot with 45 billion. I could get rid of you could pay off a lot of student loans. You could build whatever you want to build. You know what I'm talking about? You could improve everything. You could help people with stuff. But people steal. And it's a business. So look, if I lose all that money, it's part of my expenses because I can't control it. So it cuts in my profits. So sometimes I may raise my prices to overcome the theft that happens in there. And let's see, about 120 billion worldwide people steal. People are creative. Life is life, you know what I mean? And these are now employees account for 35% and customers 43% of theft. And then you have 6% vendors kind of rip me off. They give me stuff and so no, we send it to you and you didn't. And you argue with them and you know what I mean? Remember, you get what you pay for. You make sure like everything else. You look and talk to other suppliers. Look at them. Look at their ratings. There's a whole thing just like you rate your professor. Be sure you give me a nice rating. Some people rate my professor. I've got pretty good ratings. I try to be fair with them. Look, some people are going to give me a poor rating because I failed them. They didn't want to do the homework. That's fine. You always look. I don't care what. If I get one thing that's always the best, I'm going, you know what? Man, they must be a real good product. And I find out they have some kind of scam going around there to make it the best. Okay? And I'll talk about that later on in another chapter, not in this one. Okay, reverse logistics. Basically, it's customer returns and repairs. So now I get in a channel, it comes to my store, now I got the product. How do I bring it back? And it's something that was broken either by the customer, I give them the benefit of the doubt, but your policy says you ship it back in a box, we'll give you the credit because you buy 1,000 of these, so you only return 2 of them. If you buy 1,000, you're returning 600, they can say, you know what, we're not going to give you that. Terms and conditions. Same thing when I use Amazon. I buy stuff. I buy a lot of stuff. I don't return too much. Some of the stuff I return, they say, George is always buying. Must be something wrong with it to work with me. Okay? And decision chart. And this one basically, what conditions will you take it back? And then forget the supplier. Yeah. I bought this 2 years ago. It doesn't fit now. But 2 years ago, you may say 90 days, full return. no receipt. There's a service charge for handling. You know what I'm talking about? And it's discounted by 20%. If you have a receipt after 90 days, I'll give it. No receipt, I give you what's on the sale price now. You may pay $200, but now it's the end of the season. That's your policy. Those policies are there. And remember, policies in retail, you could always make adjustments to those policies to individuals. When they come and talk to you as a good customer, okay, I'll give you a break this time. You build that relationship. Policies control the masses, so everyone knows I need a receipt, I need this, or I have the restocking, and here's the cost. If it's been used, you can't take it back. Okay. Customer refund policy. Who's responsible for shipping it back? Amazon's pretty good. If you tell them it doesn't work, wrong size, it doesn't fit, I like it, but it doesn't fit, just exchange it. They'll do that because they want the sale. They know you're a repeat sale. You buy a lot from them, okay? My daughter-in-law says you got to quit buying on a Prime. I'm going to take away your Prime account. It makes my life so much easier. I think I buy more now because I don't have to go into the store. To what extent are employees empowered to process customers' returns? You know, you have to set the policy. Here's the customer, and here's where you have to give them. They're empowered. So take me for a management class. So you give them a little up to here if it looks like this, and the benefit of doubt. Okay, take the return, and we could still send it back. I mean, you could do some kind of discounting on that. And then inventory management matrix. Again, gross margin dollars. Remember, here's what they pay. Here's what I get. I have to pay for something. What's my thing? What's my margin that I could operate to pay my expenses, my employee? And after everything's done, then my net is basically what I have. So I could, here's basically how much I made. I paid $50 for this, and I sold so many of this, and I had a 70% markup, and after I paid the taxes, blah, 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 I come back and I get to keep out of the product. I pay for $50. I sold for $100. I make $10. I make $40. I make 30. It depends on you. When you're coming in at the beginning, your gross margin is going to be tighter. You're not going to have that big. As you know how to sell it, as you know how to deal with your suppliers or your source, merchandising sources, those are your suppliers, your vendors, then you could adjust it. You have a better handle. You know which ones you want. Some product categories, there's not a big turnover, but customer like it. You just carry it. You may just break even. Look like a gas station. They make that much money in a gas. They're ripping me off. It's not that. The taxes go up. The oil goes up. They make 2 or 3 cents a gallon. They're making money in the convenience store, the junk food where people come in the morning. That's where the money is at. All right? But the gas brings you in there, and while you're in there, I get a pop, I get this, especially when you have in the morning, you see a lot of construction workers or people going to work, you buy the coffee. Look at a Starbucks. You pay $7, $8. What do they got? A little cream, a little coffee, a lot of water. What the hell, $7? You don't have to make it. It tastes good. They give it to you flavor. You have different flavors. Somebody does it for you, and it's just right. And their markup is a lot because basically a liquid. So they could buy it, put it in there, so they have a quick turnover. How much does it pay per cup? How much is water heated up? Just a nice big markup for it, but you feel you got that value out of that. Okay, and then inventory turnover, gross profit from percentages, for lack of better words, of sales, gross margin, return on your inventory. Again, like we discussed before, how much supply you need available, and an average in the stock position, how much you're going to have when it drops down with your safety stocks. And again, we just covered like this. So I think I have everything that we covered in here. Let me go in here and I'll bring this back down, and we're finished. Expand, level 1. Again, so we did pretty good at here. So if I'm looking at this, you learned a lot. Again, this is really what's going to make your store. It's like, look at your when I come to your apartment or I come to your house, the first thing I see, it gives me the atmosphere. I know what kind of place. If it's all trashy, junky, I say, oh, what a slob. I'm not expecting the best quality. If I come and it's clean, I got new stuff, it's not dirty, it's dusty. I see brand products, I see private products, I see generic, and I see I got more brand, little private, a little generic. I figure you're more at the high end. I got more private labels, but a good private labels from new designers or from new companies, and you vetted them for me. I'm happy, and I'll come back and try because you're an innovator. Okay? So that's everything we have in here. Let's see how long I've done before I say goodbye. At 43 minutes. I'm doing pretty good. All right? Now remember, you can always stop me, go forward, open up. I open up all the concept maps are available in the classroom, or if you're taking me fully online, they're in the course management system. Blackboard is a course management system that Harper is utilizing. You'll find them, print them out, read the book, take your notes. I don't give you I only give you the first or second tier. Take the notes, read the book, put your notes in there, look at the videos that are supplied, talk to me in the discussion board, talk to me in the classroom, in our lecture, our discussions and lectures, and then after a while, I know there's a lot coming in. This is a 16-week course condensed either in 8 weeks, 12, or full 16, but still a lot of information. You at least are aware. You at least have some idea. You're not there going in there, what is all this stuff? I don't understand how to do this. Look at it as the same way as you'd be buying something, but now you're buying larger quantities. You're basically buying or holding material for the clients and customers that come to you. Again, my name is Dr. George Mochocki. This course is offered online, or a blended class, half online, half face-to-face, or a fully online class at Harper College, and I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, bye-bye.